Hello, everybody. This is Erica.
This is Shari.
And this is April, and you are now listening to Three Psychs and a Mic.
Just as a disclaimer, although the contents of this show may be educational and therapeutic in nature, this should not be considered a replacement for therapy with a licensed professional. If you would like more information on how you can find a therapist in your area, please contact us on social media. All right, ladies, welcome back. How's everyone doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Awesome.
I am well.
Great.
Good over here.
Awesome. Well, we are back. What month? Look, I was trying to figure out like, what
this
month
is hilarious because we be so awkward when the show come on. We be like, hello.
Girl, look, I was just trying to figure out like, what month are we gonna be in? Is the show dropping in January or February?
It'll be February already.
February.
Already in February. It's like this January has felt very long.
It has. I don't know if it's because your paychecks or what.
The longest wait ever, because we get our January paycheck in December.
Right.
Oh,
right.
So we waiting for that second. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, it's like a whole
horrible.
month
Like,
before
I'm
you
so
get your
poor.
next check.
I'm so poor. Like
And
please,
it's
sir,
not
may I have
anything
another?
different, but it is a little
It
bit.
is. There's more time in between.
Yeah. So, but yes,
that's really bad. That's really bad. You know, the feds, they keep them coming on the second and like every other month.
I mean, every other week.
Every other week. Yeah.
And that was hard for me when I worked for the federal government because I was just like, I'm used to having a day. My check hits on this day, or, it might hit the day before if it falls on a weekend. But like the federal government, it's like, wait, did we get paid? We got paid last week. Okay. So yeah, we get paid this week.
Right. Every other week.
It would just always throw me off. But those months where you got 3 checks.
Hallelujah.
Yes, Lord.
It does you really, really well.
Yes. It's awesome.
I love it.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about government checks.
Maybe we are. If anybody can find my stimulus check, I need y'all to send it to me because I still haven't gotten it.
No. Oh.
And no. I'm a little disappointed.
Let me tell you, if Trump administration didn't do nothing else, they got me my money in 48 hours of signing that bill. It was.
I didn't
even know.
Let me tell you, I appreciate that little check because, I'm probably one of those people they were talking about when they said people ain't going to use that check the way they're supposed to. The check was supposed to stimulate the economy. If I put that money back into the economy, I did what I was supposed to do with it, right? You don't get to dictate how I used it. So my check went to home improvement, home renovations.
That's a good use.
Yes. And my little $600 that I got this second go round, I was like, oh, well, we said we were going to go ahead and start adding little decorative touches to the house. So I bought curtains and little baskets for my bathroom and little wall art.
I don't know what my check is. I'm a little disgruntled.
Well, you should get a letter in the mail telling you that if you did not get your check, then you can use it as a tax credit. Because I want to say
no.
I know it's not the same.
We don't want no tax credit.
It's not the same as the cash.
I would like my money. Run me my cash. Yes. That's what I need because I would like to do something with my little $600 as well. I don't even care if they cut it in half.
I don't understand what happened. Because some people who did get their check automatically deposited or whatever, said they didn't get their check this time.
Yeah, I got mine automatically deposited the first time, and then this time around, because I went searching, so I went on the IRS.gov, looked up the little Find My Check link, so you can find it, and it says that they mailed it on January the 6th.
Oh, so they said they mailed you a check.
So the hunt is out. If anybody see it,
you better talk to some of your neighbors.
I know, right? Because was I in town? Yeah, I was here. But yeah, hit your girl up.
Yeah. Shari Naples got her check. They done had a good
out here looking for
January.
that check in the daylight with a flashlight. Okay, it's not a game.
They used your check to go to the storming the Capitol.
They probably did. I thought you was gonna say they used it to go to the boat. I was like, girl, probably so.
Girl, yeah, honey, because
That's me.
They weren't getting no PTO time, so they had to use that to supplement their income and the missed days. Pay for that quality in stay. Okay. Ooh, let me
that's
stop.
funny. Well, let's get into what's been going on in the world. So this is going to be kind of a potpourri mix of media stuff. There are two things I just want to say. Danny Lee, pretty sure most of our listeners have never heard of her, but she basically pretty much is almost about to get canceled for coming out with a wax song about being a yellow bone. And one, she's not black. Two,
is she Dominican?
Excuse me. Yes, she's a Dominican.
She's Dominican. Okay.
Not Afro-Latina Dominican, like white Dominican.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, you're not a yellow bone. You're Latina.
You're yellow.
Two, the song is whack. Like, it is bad.
Oh, no.
Three, you could have skated being this mediocre artist who got by on being a light-skinned woman with curly hair, who's racially ambiguous, and could have been fine, could continue to skate along, but
they're saying she's American.
Well, she was born in Miami, but her parents are Dominican.
Okay, so her
ethnicity is Dominican.
Yeah, gotcha.
No. How many songs does she have?
She has a couple songs.
Barring this one.
She has a song with Chris Brown. She has a song, Baby, like That's My Baby. You've probably heard it. Like, her stuff is it's catchy. She's like a sing-song rapper type, but it's very basic. I
blame Chris
Brown. She's a pretty good dancer. Well, she was hot kind of before Chris Brown, though. That Baby. So you may remember her. She went viral because she did that challenge where people were dancing with the car moving. I forgot what song.
Oh, yeah.
And she had a really good video.
Was it the Drake?
Yes.
Kiki. Yeah.
Was it Kiki? Yeah. Wow, that was so long ago. Because that's how I first learned about her. Then I was like, oh, she's a cool dancer. Then she started venturing into the rap or hip hop world, and I was like, oh, okay. If you're getting by because you're conventionally like cute.
Ooh, but she messed up when she said, "Why y'all so sensitive?"
Yeah, so she doubled down on it when people started calling her out, and was like, y'all are so sensitive, y'all trying to hate. They make songs about dark-skinned girls all the time. And then she put out an apology that didn't really help, but I'm like, okay, girl, you 26. I'll give you a little bit of a pass. But you could have just said nothing, kept that wax song in your arsenal, and could have continued to skate on being a very mediocre artist. But no, you got with a black rapper, and somehow, I don't know, thought that gave you, I don't know.
Because she's like, with
the Baby.
Who's she with?
The Baby.
The Baby? Oh, okay, I was going to say the Baby, Lil Baby. One of the babies.
So it's already something with that. Like, you done left your dark-skinned mother of your children to this Latina, which is fine, love. You like who you like, who then felt so empowered to kind of take a jab at how basically he wants a yellow bone. So she was singing out her man wants a light-skinned woman, which, girl, you have nothing else to...
That excites you that he likes you because the amount of melanin in your skin.
Because she was like, why can't I make a song about my light-skinned baddies? I'm like, because light-skinned women have never needed songs to hype them up. Because
that sounds like people talking about, why can't I make songs about my white pride? Because there are songs about your white pride. It's called Every Song About America That's Ever Been Written. Every one of them.
This land is your land.
Right.
That is definitely
and that's what they meant. That's what they meant. They meant this land is your land and my land. Not this the slaves that were working it at the time that they wrote it.
From all the way from California.
Right.
To the New York Islands.
They was telling you.
All of it is mine.
They was preaching. Look, that was in response to the Negro spirituals we was singing in the field. No. Don't get it twisted. Sing about these crops. This land is our land.
This land is your land to work, but it's ours to profit off of. Yes.
That's funny.
And then this non-apology she posted. First you say y'all don't mean shit to me, but then say I'm sorry if I offended you. Girl,
because they start,
who are your PR people?
Girl,
they should have talked to you before you posted this.
They should have listened to the song first, probably.
You and Donald Trump got the same PR person, clearly.
When we get off, I'm gonna see if I can find a snippet, but it's bad. It's like you getting canceled for a bad song. At least if it was catchy, people might have like ignored it. But this the best you could do, girl. So
wow.
Yep. And if you haven't, please go watch The Making of the 5 Heartbeats on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that because I know you said it was really good.
So good. Also, The 5 Heartbeats is like my favorite movie of all time.
It's such a good movie.
I could quote it. Like, it was so bad back in the day. I used to record my favorite scenes from the movie on a separate VHS. So I didn't have to watch the whole movie. I could just
you could just watch the scenes. That's interesting.
Which I found out they were trying to he had to fight with executives to keep the church scene at the end, towards the end, when Eddie gets saved.
Really?
And the scene with his sister where they're singing.
Yes, I saw that.
Like twice they tried to cut
that
out for time. They were like, why is this needed? And blah, blah, blah. I mean, kind of when you think about it, is kind of random, but it's such a good.
It's a good scene. Those are the best
such a good scene.
That's the scene that most people, if they think about them, I mean, that's one of the scenes, especially the one with him and his sister. That's one of the scenes that people really think about. Yeah,
it's classic, and so I won't give it away, even though it's not like a spoiler thing. One thing it highlighted to me, it made me so much more appreciative of Tyler Perry and Kev on stage.
Ooh, girl,
for what they're doing, because for so many Black creatives, they have to convince white people why Black stories are important and why a scene where the lead singer is saved, when they're like, what's that mean? You know? So when you have your Tyler Perry, who has his own studio, when you have Kevin on stage, who is created, his own soundstage on network, you don't have to fight for that anymore. You don't have to
explain your story to anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Or risk someone watering down your story or editing parts out because mainstream audiences won't get it. So it did have me very appreciative of, the Ava DuVernays, the Shonda Rhimes, just the people who are saying, nope, we're going to tell our story. We're not about to beg you for money for it. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
I love the transition that just Black media, Black artistry has made. It's just, y'all, we got to keep going. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
They keep telling Black stories. In real authentic ways, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited to see some of the ways in which companies, organizations company with telling Black stories for Black History Month, which is coming up here soon. So I'm excited about that. And
y'all get your outfits together.
Get our Black History outfits.
Please get your Black History outfits. I want this country to look like, you know what I'm saying? Like we having let's take over. It's a whole month. Like we be complaining about, we don't get but a few days. I'm going to need you to represent every 28 days of Black History Month. Okay, let's capitalize on them 28 days. I done bought me some t-shirts. Y'all go get you a special hairdo. If if you're on a budget, run up to City Trends. They got a lot of the little, the African inspired earrings. Ain't but $1.99. You can get a 5-pack for about $6. You know what I'm saying?
City Trends.
Listen. Shop your Black owned businesses. We need to be doing that anyway, but we need to especially patronize these places. Black History Month. Listen.
Get it together. Come with the fashions.
Do it right. Come with all the fashions and the attitude. And read a book. Okay? Get your Black History book ready.
Yeah.
I am ready.
Well, with that, y'all, let's roll into our topic for this episode. So really wanting to move into doing monthly themes for our episodes, especially because we are transitioning into spaces where we are doing 2 episodes a month, kind of bi-weekly episodes. We want those episodes to have a topic. And as we are rolling into the month of February, I have heard in the streets that it's the month for love. That's what they say. I don't know nothing about them things.
That's what they say.
don't have around these parts. So we really wanted to bring you guys some episodes that are talking not necessarily just about love, but also about love, sex, relationships, and all the things that we think about when we think about this month of February. And so on today's topic, we really wanted to start to talk a little bit about love in general, and then some of the things that we may have learned about love from stories, from things that we saw in our past life, from things, well, not past life, but past childhood and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to kick this episode off with asking you ladies a question around fairy tales. So one of the things that I used to absolutely love as a kid were fairy tales. Were like Disney, of course, right? Mm-hmm. You got singing, you got people falling in love out the blue, you got people turning from animals to humans to animals, and they loving each other through it all. Yes. And so as I got older, started to realize that these stories weren't always realistic. I wasn't going to be kissing frogs and getting princes. It wasn't going to happen that way. And so I wanted to check in with you ladies to see, are there any lessons that you learned from fairy tales that you truly believed would be represented in your love life that maybe haven't been as you've gotten older?
Well,
it's like silence. I was, and I think I've shared this on here maybe before, maybe not. I was always very literal as a child. So I don't think that allowed me to take fairy tales as truth. Because I was just like, even like with Hansel and Gretel, I was like, so I don't get it. You mean to tell me they just, I could read it for enjoyment, but I also knew that it wasn't true. And even like with Snow White, I would just have so many questions. Like, so how did she fit in their house if the rest of them were dwarfs and nobody thought
they were dwarfs? Right.
So I would always get caught up on
because they lived in a tree, April. They lived in a tree. No, sorry.
Yeah, I just would always get stuck on the stuff that didn't fit.
And for me, it was all like, okay, she literally had to kiss a frog. I didn't like animals, so I knew that one wasn't gonna be me. And then Cinderella, I was like, I like her story because she got to wear, cute, nice gown. She had these fly, cool little shoes that nobody had. Maybe that's where my obsession with shoes came from, because I really enjoyed the fact that she had this unique shoe. But I think I was probably like, oh my God, but she had these evil people that she had to work with, and why she had to clean. And I was just always mad that who gave her a curfew? Where did that even come from? But I think I had the whole fairy tale, mindset like, oh my gosh, like they're going to get married and they're going to live happily ever after. I think I did. I adopted that mindset, like everything will be fine once your Prince Charming comes.
And I wonder what this is like, what that's like for guys on their side of having to be the quote unquote Prince Charming. Like you have to go and kind of rescue this damsel in distress and create this amazing ever after for this person, and how that may have impacted the way in which they walk into relationships or even just like search out relationships.
I wonder if a guy would even think that's what was happening. But I mean, I have encountered a lot of men who don't feel like a woman is appreciating them if they're not appreciating stuff that they do for them.
That's a whole nother episode. The need to be that whole, the show me you need me.
Yes.
Or you act like you don't need me. It's like, well,
but I was doing all that I could. Yeah, girl. Yeah, I could talk all.
Yeah. That is an episode for you.
Episode in itself. I'm taking notes. We're going to write that down.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what false messages that I even like I think about my high school / college relationship. I remember my friends would tease me because they were like, April, you act like you don't really like him. I was like, no, I like him, but I know I'm not gonna marry him. Like, I know this is what you do. Like, you date someone in high school and like that
you go to
just
college.
it. Like even then I just like, this ain't like we're not going to get married. Like, why are you dating? Because I'm 18. Like, I'm not looking for
right.
So, but I think one thing that I do remember thinking is like in movies, I think understanding that marriage and kids, I just thought that was just the next step in life. And even though I didn't really ever like, ooh, I can't wait. It was just like, okay, well, this is just what you do. Like, this is what you see, after this is a stage of adulthood. Like you go off to college, you go to school, you get married, you have kids, you start a family. And it was something that I had to shift as I got older. Like, I think my internet is that, actually there are so many other things you can do along the way that don't,
and in a different order.
All of those. And in a different order.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Erica's like, yes.
I'm just seeing my life playing out going, there were so many times I was like, did I do this wrong? Like, I followed like, I feel like I started following this blueprint. I was like, I don't think this is a one size fits all. But we do get those messages. I would love to see fairy tales. Like, I would love to see Disney go the day after he put the shoe on the foot. The day after,
wasn't there
the
a
frog
series
moved into the castle? Like, I need
would be
that
really cool
in my life.
I think that's one of the things that I like. If I'm thinking about lessons I learned, a lot of it was the marriage is the pinnacle. Like, once you get to that space of like marriage, then that's it. Like, you don't have to work anymore. You don't have to do anything. Like, you're there. And
yes, the marriage is the pinnacle of when you should start therapy.
Right. Consistently.
That is the point where you really, if you have not already gotten your life together and gotten God in your life, that is the pinnacle moment in which you should do that.
Where you dive in head first.
Yes, you gonna need therapy and Jesus, okay? Yes.
No, I know that was one of the things that one of the lessons that I learned from fairy tales that did not benefit me throughout my life, And another one was, and I think we talked about this a little bit before the episode, but like, love is enough. Like, love will see you through anything and everything. And as long as you love one another, you will travel mountains and fight dragons and, overcome evil stepmothers to be with this person. And as we know, like that's not enough. Love is not enough.
No. And so, Shari, you shared this article with us that I think is really interesting that talks about 11 things that are actually more important than love in a relationship. And there are a lot of really interesting ones. Are there any that stuck out to y'all? And I'll just like read a couple of them. But they mentioned things like a sense of respect, like knowing that your partner respects you, being able to trust each other. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say respect is a big one for me. I always say if I had to choose between love and respect, I would always choose respect. Always choose respect, because I think with respect comes other things that are very important to me. And so definitely, I like that they mention respect being one of those things that are more important than love.
Yeah. They mention, what's one? I scrolled over one. A feeling of safety and security with one another. And I don't think they just mean like safety in the sense of you're not going to physically harm me, but like safety with my heart, safety with, and I think that goes into the whole trust piece as well. They mentioned genuinely liking each other. Do y'all know people who are couples but don't seem to like each other? Like, why y'all don't even like each other?
Yeah.
Right. And the answer to that is like, because I love him or because I love her.
Yeah.
I love him, but I don't like him.
I think sometimes people get so focused on the desire to have a partner that they ignore those little things that later, after that honeymoon phase is worn off, you're like, ooh, you're a little bit you're kind of controlling, or you're a micromanager, or you never say I'm sorry. And it's like, starting to see that. I do think in those cases, that's when love helps, because love is the thing that's reminding you to treat that person with like grace and, but it's definitely not all you need. And then just knowing that people change over time too. Like
Absolutely.
I think that's one thing I can say that was not discussed in Fairy Tales. And I remember, God, you would have thought I'm surprised my teacher did not hit me in the mouth. I remember being in high school and was like, I don't understand how people get divorced. Like, you knew who this person was when you met them. Like, you signed up for this. And my teacher was like, people change. Like, the person that you married is not the person you divorce, and people change. I was like, but how? Yeah. Like, what do you mean they change?
Yeah.
Again, literal minded. I'm just like, but that's who it was.
It's so funny you mentioned that, because, I talked to my parents just about life and their relationships and things. And one thing that my dad would say is that your mom is just not the same woman that I married, and my parents got married, out of high school. My parents dated since junior high school. Like, they were a couple forever. So they knew their youthful selves and they grew up together, so of course they changed. And one of the things like, well, how did she change? And he was just like, she's so much more vocal, and before it was kind of like, I'm sure like back in the day you learned like the man is the head of the household and he controls things and, blah, blah, blah. And so that's kind of how she governed herself. But as she became more of herself as a woman and, herself as a provider and, things like that, how she governed herself was just different. And I think initially that was a little bit hard and probably a bit off-putting, right, for my dad. But they had to learn to adjust to the different sides of one another. You know?
Yeah. And it's funny, the article talks a little bit about updating each other about the needs, like your needs, because your needs will change as you change, right? And so being able to just kind of update each other about like, what is the need that I have now for my relationship that maybe I didn't have from the beginning? But I have that need now because I'm different now, you know, or our relationship is different now. You're different now. And so really like just saying like, how do we have that conversation to update each other? Like maybe before we had a lot of sex, right? Maybe before because we had time and we were young and we weren't, you know, divulging our career. And maybe now I may not have that same need or desire. And so how do we have that talk? Or vice versa, it may flip, you know.
How do you have that talk?
Which is the communication piece that was in that article. Like that is an integral part of relationships that's not, you know, that's just as important as love. Excuse me. And I have a friend who was telling me about very candid and honest conversations, actually two, that they have with their husbands about everything from being attracted to other people and being dissatisfied in certain areas, and how a lot of people don't have those conversations because they fear that it's going to cause the other person to feel bad, or they think the other person is going to blow up, which is also important to provide space where people can feel comfortable bringing certain things to you, but also just having that communication of like, hey, this isn't working. Or, you know, when we first met, I used to do X, Y, and Z, but I can't do that anymore. Like we didn't have kids back then, or we had a smaller house, so it was easier to do it. But now you're going to have to
wash some of these dishes too.
Yes. Yes, Lord. Absolutely. The communication, I think you hit it on the head, April, when it's like people will not communicate for fear of how their partner is going to respond. But it's like the communication part is what keeps things, you know, going, keeps things lined up. Like, hey, you know, we're hitting a shift. What we going to do? Like, you know what I mean? It's almost like, you know, one partner is driving, but is blindfolded. And can you communicate, you know, the direction that y'all need to go to keep the relationship on track, you know?
Yeah.
And I think there's some people who would be like, we just going to run off the road because I'm not going to open my mouth.
I'm not opening my mouth for nothing. And I think oftentimes like people think that, well, if I love this person, we'll always be able to communicate, or they'll know what I'm thinking, or they'll know exactly where I'm coming from. And so I say communication's a dance, especially in a relationship, you know. And that dance changes. You may be leading the dance at some point. You may have to fall back and let the other person lead. But it's all about like understanding and starting to learn each other's rhythm with communication, because it's very, very important in a relationship.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I like the part they spoke about the fair partnership, and being able to find that balance with things. And this is something, it's funny we're talking about fairy tales, but I honestly think church probably screwed up more people than fairy tales when it comes to dating, because of I was in one of the Facebook singles groups I'm in. Someone posted like, women, can you truly allow a man to lead? And I always go, lead me where? Like, what does that mean? I'm not looking to be led. I don't need to be led. I am looking for someone who can walk beside me, and where he's stronger in certain areas, sure, you take over that, and the areas I'm stronger in, I will be responsible for it. But I'm not looking for a leader. Like, I don't need a father. I don't need a authority figure in my household. And that's a big part of how church even sees like the man is the head of the house. And then you have Christ. It's like, well, God speaks to me too. Like, I don't think he needs you to cover me in that same way.
I mean, I think of it as like, I feel like they separated as if the teachings are like separate entities. Like there is this part where he talks about the leader, but there's also the part where he talks about the Proverbs 31 woman, and there's a lot of leadership in that piece. And it's like, if you put those together.
Do you mean they distorted scripture to fit another agenda?
I mean,
where they do that at?
You don't have this person that's got a leash around your neck walking you through life. Like it's actually, you know, there's, you know, a description of how the man in his role leads. And then there's the description of how the woman in her role leads. Like it's not just I'm a trail behind you.
Right. And I think so many come in with this idea, because even in conversations, and I have a homeboy who asks all the time when like conversation of submission come up, he was like, submit to what? Give me an example. And the examples always have to do with you do what I say. And I was like, so that's not submission, that's dominance, what you're looking for. And that, so there's sometimes often this pushback of if a person is coming in with this mindset of leader, you know, what does that mean? That's why I really like that piece about finding the balance in partnership, because once you approach something like a marriage or a relationship in general from the stance of we both are coming in, we both have things to contribute, we both have weaknesses, it's so much easier than trying to fight over power.
Of course. Yeah. I think it's like equity in a relationship is so important.
Right.
Like, how do we build an equitous relationship with saying, these are the things that I am really great at doing, really great at being, you know, leading in. And these are the things that you're really great at doing and leading in. And so how do we allow each other the space to do the things that we're both really great at, you know? And how do we do that in a way that is going to allow both of us to feel invested in the relationship? You know, I'm not, like you said, you know, I'm not just following your lead for the sake of, you know, the genitalia you were born with. You know.
Thank you. Because if it's all about, never mind.
Oh, some of y'all would have got counted out.
Listen,
long time ago.
Guys passing out servings. Just
okay.
No, that equity piece is big.
Yes. The one that I kind of clung to in this article was the one about hanging on to your independence in the relationship, because I would get flack, you know, particularly from my mother, you know, about like wanting to do things on my own, like without my husband. It was kind of like, well, no, you're married now, so you do everything together. And I was like, skirt, wait a minute. What you mean? Like, if I said, oh, you know, I just wanted to get out and go shopping by myself. Well, why aren't y'all spending the day together? Because we live together. I see him all the time.
We spent the night together.
We spent the whole day
together. Today, I want to go to pick up my candles from Bath and Body Works, and he wants to go play Farmer Drew in the yard, and that's what we're about to do. But I also have to remember and think about how long my parents have been together. They did not live separately or go anywhere separately until probably my mom's work started traveling, and she actually had to leave. And it was so funny because if she was gone longer than a day, my dad was hopping on a plane and going. It was like, we like, Dad, she only gonna be gone for 3 days. Oh, I know. But like, they could not be together. And so I understand that is where it comes from for her. But like, we had a different thing. Like, we were adults, independent of one another for so long that I think being able to have that space and respect that space for each other to do things independent of the relationship is very important, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very big on being able to still have a lot of shari in my relationships, you know, and not, and I think it stems from, I haven't always been really good at that. Like, I was one of those women who would totally enmesh with my partner. So if they enjoy doing that thing, now I enjoy doing that thing. If this is how they took their eggs, I took my eggs that way. You know, like,
oh no, you weren't runaway bride, were you?
I was runaway bride, girl. I really was. And I learned, you know, there were things that I actually did enjoy and I still enjoy, but I was introduced to it because I was like, oh, well, he likes to do that, so I'm going to do that too. And now I'm very intentional about saying, okay, well, how do you retain your full self in this relationship? And what does that look like for you, for yourself, but then also for your partner? Like, how do you communicate that and explain that and say that that's a value and a need for yourself?
Yeah, I absolutely think there's a balance. Like, I think I love the fact that you're open to like learning about what the other person likes.
Girl.
Wow. But, you know, I think it's also important to, like you said, retain your own stuff.
It has taken me some places. Let me tell you. I think y'all were when I was dating this gamer, and I was like, y'all, we went on a date, and I showed up in my, you know, my jeans, my heels, and everybody else had on like cosplay, and I was like, wait a minute, nobody told me that we were supposed to be wearing costumes. Like, what is happening? So it has taken me some places. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Nice.
I think that also part of that comes from, again, I keep going back to the church, that idea of, you know, leave and cleave and the two shall become one.
Yeah.
And I think people almost interpreted that to the extreme.
Right.
Like, becoming one doesn't mean that you're not going to need some you time and your interests, and it's okay to do things that don't necessarily involve, like, I remember when Holly Robinson Peete came out with this book, I think it was like Shut Up and Watch the Game or something, and it was to teach women about football so they could watch with their husbands. I was like, but what is that necessary? Like, if you don't like watching football,
Right.
I mean, he can't watch by him, which he probably would want to. I don't know.
Right. He might not want me.
Right.
To
Sitting
sit
there asking
beside him
questions.
and
Yeah,
watch.
I was like, there are some shows, sure, it'd be cool if my partner, you know, we watch together, but he might not like Bridgerton, and that's okay. I'm still going to watch.
You know, I got a strict Hamilton policy. Okay? Very strict Hamilton policy. And you ain't got to like it, but we going to watch it.
Oh, no.
And you're going to learn at least one song so we can sing it together. That's my policy.
You got to learn one Hamilton song.
That's too funny.
At least
Girl,
one.
You might have eliminated a large portion of your
Baby,
This
you know, it's no secret that I'm single, okay?
Oh my God.
That's funny.
But no, I get what you're saying, because it's really, you know, and that just shows that it's so artificial, right? It's
Right.
like, well, let me get to chapter 5 so I can know what a field goal is, you know,
Yeah.
like it's so artificial. It's not even based off of you still being present in the relationship. You have now, like you said, you left and cleft a little bit too much, and now you don't know where you are down the road, and you wake up like, who is this person?
This happens so much. This is why I'm doing a talk on mom guilt, because so many of my moms talk about not knowing who they are anymore outside of being a mother. Like, they don't remember what they enjoy. They don't think about hobbies. They haven't bought anything for themselves in a year. And I'm just like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of it is like, we spent work on getting back to who you are as a person outside of your title of mom or wife, because it can be so consuming. Like, one, I don't have kids. I've babysat a few times. So, you know, again, speaking from that lens, but it can be consuming, like, especially in those early years, because your child's survival is dependent
upon
you.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it. I get how easy it would be to get so sucked in to that's your main job right now, is to make sure this creature that you have created, let me not call it a creature.
Yes,
this
it's a creature. I'm sitting here with this creature moving right now. I keep hitting the mute button because I'm like, oh God, what is he doing? It's a whole creature, ma'am.
But that's where that partnership comes in, to have a partner who can say, you know what, let me do the feeding tonight, Or, you know, when you can go out, go get your, go paint. Cause I know you used to love to paint and you haven't done painting in so long, but when you don't have a person that can do that, it's easy to get stuck and consumed into those roles.
One of my Facebook friends actually just posted something that is along those lines for her son's birthday. And it was a line that stuck out to me that I was like, yes, this is the kind of mindset that I think I need to shift to. But she basically was saying that she had to reconcile within herself that the time that she is putting into motherhood is like more of an investment in her child rather than self-sacrifice. And I was like, yes, I love that, because I kept struggling with this idea of I have to lose myself to become a mother. And I Shari knows I've really been kind of struggling with that concept. But when she looked at it as this is an investment, I'm investing in something at this time. It doesn't mean that my investment is always going to be like this 100%. I can't invest in myself. With investment, it comes with balancing. Like, okay, today I get to invest this amount into this aspect of my life versus feeling like I have to completely sacrifice myself. And I was like, yes.
I really like that.
That's good.
Yes, I love that.
I really like that. And I think people can think about that in all types of relationships, right? So your relationship with your kids, your relationship with your partner. Because I've heard when talking to a lot of my male friends about marriage and about like moving into like very serious committed relationships, they often have this thought of, I have to self-sacrifice everything. And I don't want to move into this marriage if it's going to all be about the woman. It's going to all be for her. And so this thought around, well, it's investment. It's investment in what you want to create as opposed to this notion of self-sacrifice.
And I feel like that is oftentimes just, and I say this based off of not my own experience, but just like talking to friends who have been married and then 5 years down the road, they're like, wait, okay, I entered into this situation wrong. And it's because they entered in completely sacrificing themselves, trying to create this image or this expectation of what they thought they were supposed to be in this relationship. And then they realize, like, I can't maintain this.
Yes.
And then that's when you start to see the problems. And I'm like,
resentment and frustration.
Feeling like you've lost yourself.
Escape. Like I need to escape because I'm no longer here. So let me escape to whatever or whomever so that I can be myself again. Yeah. That's real.
I think the biggest thing with Fairytales Messed Us Up, or just in general, is recognize that all relationships are unique and that what worked for one may not work for you. And there's different ways to relationship. Even, as I'm learning about polyamory and other non-monogamous styles, that's something I never thought about growing up. Outside of, hearing about cults and religions with multiple wives. But there are some people that works for them. They are in open relationships and it's like, that's great for you. But just, for some people that might be the setup. Like that's another thing too, is like quit forcing. If you don't do well with exclusive monogamous relationships, stop entering exclusive monogamous relationships. Find a relationship that fits your style and not what
it's out there.
It's out there. Like I was joking about some stuff. I saw clips from Love and something Huntsville.
Girl, that's my show.
So I've never watched it. I only see clips of it and people talking about it, and people like discussing on YouTube shows, but enough to know what it's about. And with one of the couples, like, why did y'all get married? Like, and for him in particular, why do you want to?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, no, they're divorcing. I'm talking about Martell and Melody. They're divorcing, or she's filed for divorce.
Oh, yeah. They've been divorcing a couple. Yeah.
Oh, really? And he's like basically fighting like he's in I won't say denial. I think he's just a narcissist, just from the little bit I've been able to clip on it. But I'm like, why do you want to be married? Like, you have a mistress you have a girlfriend that you've had the entire length of your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to be married?
Excuse
maybe
me?
marriage isn't for you. And it's okay to acknowledge that.
Right.
Like, why are you trying to fit into...
But I think it comes from these constraints, right? Like you said, whether it's fairy tales, whether it's the church, whether it's your family, like these lessons that we get around, this is what love has to look like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is what relationships have to look like.
The moment you bring a child that did not come from me.
Oh, wait a minute. He got a mistress and a child outside of the marriage?
I think so. I think the girlfriend, the mistress has a baby.
Because they've been together they've been together for a while. Like, that's kind of like their storyline on the show. Like, he's had this mistress, his wife is known. They've had like the storyline of like, I'm a leave her, you need to leave her, or I'm gonna leave you, and I'm done. They back together, like... But that's been their storyline the whole time.
Oh, wow.
It's interesting.
I need to start watching.
Pick it up, girl.
From the clip, I said, "Ooh, I can't. This is disturbing my spirit," because the way he talking to other people and not taking any responsibility, and had the nerve to get mad because he saw some text messages that his wife was communicating with. Like, sir, you have a whole baby on the way.
Yeah,
you better be glad she ain't moving another man in. Because let me tell you, the way my get back is set up, I would have timed it so you come home and we're there. Like, no. That part.
It's an interesting little show, but I do think it relates to, like you said, like, if that doesn't fit for you, right? If that's not what is allowing you to be your best self, because obviously, he's not. It's not for him. They are not operating as their best selves right now, and so I think that rolls us into just like takeaways. That was a great takeaway. What's going to allow you to be your best self, and I think a takeaway for me is like, love is definitely important. It's definitely a part of relationship. But there's other stuff that we've talked about that are equally, if not more important. Things like respect, things like fairness and equity, being able to communicate your needs, being able to feel safe and actually like each other. Like, do I like you? Outside of love, I have to like you.
That's one thing that I tell my husband. I'd be like, I really like you today. Like, that's something that, because I know, like, there are some days where I am seething on the inside, like, oh, I can't stand you,
Yeah.
So on those days, and I really like you, like, as opposed to, it's like, well, I wasn't really feeling you yesterday, but like, today I feel the warm and fuzzies, and so I want to let you know. And that's important for me. I don't know how much he appreciates it or not. But I love
and knowing that there will be days where you may not like the person, but like, or you may not like the person's actions, like what they're doing.
Right.
But do you genuinely like who this person is, like the core of their being?
Right.
Like, you may be like, I really love how caring you are, how respectful or honest you are just in situations and things like that. And so, do you even like the person that you're in love with? That's a big question. Yeah. But love is important, but there are also other things that should also be added into the mix.
Like compatibility.
Compatibility, yes. Does this person allow you to be independent? Are you creating a partnership, or is it a dictatorship? Is there honesty and truth? All of those things. Yeah,
definitely.
Any takeaway for you, Erica?
I guess my takeaway is, I don't know. I think the best part about a relationship, I guess love is foundational, but I think the things that are going to keep the relationship going is authenticity of self. Whatever that might look like, because like April, pointed out, like, people are going to change, and you just need to be able to be authentic and show your partner and let your partner know, and be a part of seeing that growth and that change. Because I think some people, when they say you've changed, it's like, I've been changing, but we haven't you haven't been involved in that to recognize it because you've been hanging on and watching for the old parts of me, you know, instead of like, I'm changing. And so the relationship is changing with it. So I just think, you know, I just never want to lose myself. So, you know, the love is important, but staying authentic to who I am is important. So that's my takeaway. If you feel like you're not able to be your authentic self, you know, there needs to be some conversations and some reevaluation of what you're doing and what's going on.
That's good. I like how you phrase it as love is the foundation, because we're not saying love isn't important. There should be some things to build on that love, because the love changes over time. You have different types of love, and the love is where you get that grace and that compassion when that person puts a swallow of juice back in the fridge.
Ooh, girl,
let me tell you.
Who puts 4 French fries in a storage container because they didn't want to throw them away? Like, this does not constitute leftovers, boo. Put it in the garbage.
Or puts fingerprints on your stainless steel refrigerator. Like, really, why are you touching it in the middle? Like, who does it? The handle's over here. Like, what?
Why your hand in the middle of the refrigerator? Like,
what were you doing? Were you leaning on the refrigerator? Were you in thoughts?
That's too
like,
funny.
What's happening?
That is hilarious. So I will echo that for my takeaway.
Awesome.
I love it.
All right. Well, we are at the point in our show, our favorite part of our show. Speaking of love, indeed, is where we take the time to send one our love, where we identify a person or situation or whatever that's happened throughout the week or weeks that we just want to acknowledge and focus on some of the good and the positive in our lives and in the world. So, is there anyone who wants to go first? No. Let's see.
Why is this always so
hard? I know. And we love.
I'm trying to remember my week.
We're very loving.
That's why it's always hard. I don't remember my week, which is, this is important. This is a good thing, because I need to be more intentional about being grateful for things. So the fact that I'm struggling means I'm not focusing on gratitude like I should.
I like it.
Well, I will say, okay, well, I want to send my love to, I'll send it to my mother-in-law, who lives across the street, or should I say we live across the street from her because they were here first. But I just want to send my love to her. I very much so appreciate her as just being a genuinely kind person, and she's been so very helpful and kind to me. I am very pregnant right now, and so I'm a little anxious about traveling far away from home alone. And so this week she rode with me to like run errands, and she's a busy lady. She's got, her own things going on in life. But she made sure to take the time to like help me and just make sure that I wasn't by myself in doing things. And then she's also sent some help over to my home to help me keep things clean, because I've been complaining about I'm just not able to like keep my house clean like I like to. And so she sent over some help. So she's just been a welcome addition to my life. And I know there's a lot of people who don't have that kind of positive, those kind of positive feelings towards their in-laws. But I definitely want to say I love her, and I would not trade her for anyone else in this world. So I want to send my love to her.
That's good.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of something like more personal, but all I keep going back is what I said about Tyler Perry and Robert Townsend. But I'm going to send down my love.
That's a good one.
And Kev on Stage and all of them, not only because of what they're doing, but also the example they are setting, specifically with Kevin Fredericks. The things that he's been doing has inspired me to like dream big and go after, because I'm looking at his career in the last 3 years. Like when I started following, he went from YouTube to Instagram to having a show on Will Smith's channel, and he's forever bringing people along with him. Like every time he increases or gets to another stage, he opens the door for someone else. And just the things that he's been able to do is just like, you really can go after your dreams. Like I mean, he fails along the way. He's been very explicit about his missteps as well. So I guess I'm appreciative for people being open and transparent about their journeys, and the opportunities that they have been able to afford other people, because they were not just vigilant, but obedient to the vision that they have been given. Because it's just a kind of a reminder that sometimes your vision, your task is not just for you, it's not just for your benefit, is so that other people can also be blessed by what you've been given. So I'll give it to Mia.
That's good. That's good. I don't really have one, y'all. I mean, the good things have happened over the past week, but yeah, I don't have one. I feel bad.
You could send your love to Peloton since they're supposed to be delivering your bike tomorrow.
Do you have some hate to send?
Right.
Some
got some Peloton love. My bike is getting here tomorrow. I got the call. They said between the hour of 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. So I'm super excited about that.
That's good.
I guess I could send my love to all my friends who I know have Pelotons, and I've been like, what's your username? Like, I want to ride with you, you know. Totally nerding out. I'm so excited for Peloton's Black History Month series that they're kicking off tomorrow. So I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Peloton with your Black History Month.
A Wicked series. I know. They got Black History Month. They got a Wicked series. They got a Year of Yes partnership with Shonda Rhimes.
That's cool.
They're having a Bob Marley series that's kicking up here soon. So I'm super excited about that. So I guess I could send my love to them, at least for at least trying to keep people involved and engaged in their own physical fitness. So
that's good.
I'm gonna send my love to them for sure.
You hear that, listeners? Peloton is even celebrating Black History Month. You have no excuse. So get on it.
Too funny.
That's real.
Very quickly, this isn't a segment, but I would like to send a You Tried It to Publix.
Yes, that should be a segment.
Oh, no.
Because I'm like trying to make my shopping list, and Publix is advertising Beyond Burgers buy 2 get 1 free. Ma'am, sir, Beyond Burgers is $7 for 2 patties. If I spend $14, that's not a deal. You want me to spend $14 to get an extra 2? That is no. Buy
that's
one.
Crazy.
That's not BOGO. It's supposed to be buy 1 get 1 free. Publix. You're not slick. You were hoping somebody missed it.
They made it buy 2.
Buy 2.
Buy 2 get 1.
$7 or $8 for Beyond Burgers for 2 patties.
For just 2 patties.
Y'all tried it, Publix. Okay, but I'm still supporting.
I like that as a segment. You tried it.
Yes.
Oh, I have a lot. Midlands Honda. The mechanics at Midlands Honda, y'all tried it.
What they do?
So feel free to cut this yourself if you need to.
Right.
So, I've had free oil changes with my car, but it expired. My car's 3 years old now, so all that free stuff is gone. So I guess I forgot how much oil changes cost. So I called ahead, just like, hey, how much is my oil change? They were like, oil changes are $65. I was like, I have a Honda.
Well, April, the oil gonna cost them $65.
It doesn't. Are they actually changing the oil or the filter?
They change the oil and the filter. If they doing it right.
If I watch YouTube, I can figure this out. But fine. So I finally just buckled down because I did call Express Oil. I was like, how much y'all charge? And it wasn't that much of a difference. Yeah. So I said, okay, fine. This is what oil changes cost. Fine. So I get there and they're like, which I had to make an appointment anyway because there was a recall on something they need to fix. So he was like, well, would you like your tires rotated? I was like, does it not come with the oil change? He's like, no, that's an extra $30. I'm sorry. when did tire rotations become separate from an oil change?
Girl, back in 2012.
Are you serious? That used to be standard.
It
Tire oil
did.
change.
It did.
So I said, fine, go ahead. So he was like, well, now since you're at 100, you might as well get this package we have for 130.
Okay, so
which is 3 oil changes, 3 tire rotations, and so I was like, actually, that is a better deal because
we were upselling you. Yeah,
he upset, but it equaled out because it was like, well, 3 oil changes. Because I'm already, like I said, I'm already spending $100 today.
Okay.
So for an extra 30, I can get 2 more oil changes.
Oh, yeah.
Out of that.
That's great.
Plus the rotations will be included. And he was trying to sell me on something.
Good.
So I said, okay, fine. That's it. Don't try to sit. I came here. I felt like girl off of Players Club. I came here for an oil change. That's it.
That's it.
Look, this will be a bonus segment. You know, we don't have to cut that out. This is a bonus segment.
April's rant. I could do a rant every episode.
No, we should certainly do you tried it section.
I get home because one reason I was like, cool, I'll go there because you get free Lyft ride. So I was like, got home, got me a cup of free coffee, went home. They send me a video of the people working on my car to show, like they do video inspections now. So that's probably my $65 going. So they send me a video showing me all the stuff in my car that needs fixing. Ooh, April, your brake pads are only 3 millimeters and they need to be 5. Look at your tires.
But do they need to be replaced.
Do they stop? Your transmission fluid is looking cloudy. Is it supposed to be clear? You're sure? I don't know what it's supposed to look like.
Right.
Also, your windshield wipers. We also recommend that estimate was $1,008.
Girl,
who is paying this? Who are these people?
Said, decline.
What in the world?
I wanted my oil
listen,
changed.
I didn't come here for you all to be pointing out my car's flaws. I asked for an oil change.
Also, I was just here in November. So y'all not gonna play me like I don't bring my car in every 3 to 4 months.
How did all this happen in the next?
Now I knew my tires. I knew that was gonna be. Oh, I need an alignment. I was like, didn't I just get an alignment in November? How? Now, granted, South Carolina roads probably
are horrible,
tearing up,
horrible.
So I might give them that. But they tried it. So when I went back to pick up, I said, how much, give me in terms of mileage, how much time do I have to get this done? And that's how I determine, because I don't know what I have on sweatpants and a sweatshirt and workout tights. I don't know what about me makes y'all think that I was prepared to just give y'all $1,000 when I didn't want to pay the $65.
From the beginning, it went from $65 to $1,000.
So, Mr. President, if you're listening,
I need another
we
stimulus.
need another stimulus check.
Well, I need my first. Look, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Shoot, I'm out here tracking my mail and
because April's Honda got hip problems. She needed an alignment. She got cloudy pee. She she's just got a lot of things.
My car need an antibiotic.
Right.
Okay. Look.
We need another stimmy, y'all. We need another stimmy, Mr. President.
Yes. So on that note, sorry. That's still upset about y'all tried it. $1,000.
Tried it.
You know, I work for the state.
Thank you. Thank you.
We got a hiring freeze. What do you mean? I'm getting $1,000 like this from? Still mad. All right. So thank you all for listening to another episode of 3 Psychs and a Mic. You can find us on social media at 3 Psychs and a Mic, as well as Gmail if you'd like to email us. 3psychsandamic@gmail.com. Please listen, share, give us your feedback. But most importantly, share the episodes and share with us what you like about them. So we hope you have an amazing week and you get the week that you wish for.
Amen.
Yes.
Bye, y'all. Bye, guys.
Bye.